There we go. There we go. We are live on episode 43 of the We All Serve podcast. Welcome to the 43rd conversation with my friend, my brother, the one, the only, Angel Torres. Angel, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I just really happy. Things have been so good lately, the last week and this week, and a lot of love from people that listen to our podcast and reaching out to me and wanting to be involved, telling me things like it really touched me. The message and the authenticity of it just gets me jazzed up, man.
Oh man, absolutely. And I'm going to go out on a whim over here, and I'm just going to say congratulations publicly to the whole podcast world. I don't know what we call it. Is I'm sure tuning in. But Angel, you have gotten started with some new adventures, and we are excited for you. So we could leave it there if you'd like.
No, I started recently with Ernst & Young, a Big Four consulting firm, and the whole journey to get that position with them was long, and it gave me a lesson in patience and just tenacity and just sticking to it. And I'll tell you what, it feels so worth it right now because they're treating me so well. The onboarding process is like nothing I've ever experienced, and I'm just really grateful for all the people that supported me over the time, and helping my business and stuff. And I just feel like I'm in the right place at the right time with the right people.
Yeah.
So,
well, what
I want to pay it forward, and when I actually know when I know where my shoes are.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you know where the bathrooms were and over there. But yeah, listen, we're in the world of COVID, so you don't even need to go in. So as long as Tina tells you where the bathrooms are at home, you're probably good.
She does. But she grunts and elbows me. But
yeah.
Hey, if I can, I want to talk about the real briefly about the Vanessa Guillen memorial that happened last week. Specialist Vanessa Guillen, we did a national LULAC, Legally United Latin American Citizens, reached out and said, Chicago, can you get some people together and go live with us? And it was just so great to join in on that and creating legislation and support for such an important piece of legislation.
It's so awesome that you did it. I was watching on social media, and I know that similar gatherings have taken place all over the country. I mean, it's been quite a year, and I can tell you that I know that there's a lot of efforts underway to make changes, and changes sometimes are hard. And I was telling you what I'm involved in. Like even
you're in the middle of it. You're like not even in the middle. You're at the tip of the spear, if you will. I mean, right there at where everything happens.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, literally geographically, but also, I mean, bottom line, I feel a unique responsibility. Actually, I'm going to hold this up over here, borrowing somebody's office over here. But this is Operation Ironclad, and this is the local effort, and I'm privileged to be involved in it, and basically creating a more inclusive, trustworthy, respectful environment. And it's those things. It starts with the fundamentals, and that's what really contributes to making the difference. So, I think it's awesome that they dedicated a gate at Fort Hood, and I think that's great. I actually talked about this last night in an event I was involved in, that the physical piece is important. It's far, far, far more important the meaningful changes that are being made. And what I was about to say, and connecting the dots with your new role, and everything, it is about paying it forward, and it is. And I know that you will, and I know that you have been ever since you came out of the wrong branch, but the Navy. You came out and you've continued to make sure that your lessons about your transition have been relevant and impactful to people. And I know you're going to have an even larger platform. And I know that this probably in many ways frees you up to actually do more.
It does.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know from the world of entrepreneurship. Like in some ways, coming into the Army, it's like, wow, I actually have time in my hands. It's great.
I got to check with the legal guys, all the stuff I can do and can't do, though. I mean, their compliance and regulations on independence, and I can't invest in certain companies, and they're really strict. It's pretty great. I was like, wow, you guys are assuming I have money to invest in anybody.
The goal out of today's podcast is really just to make sure that we only get you in trouble 5 times for things that you say, no more. So there we go. High hopes. So before we bring in our guest, I, as always, want to make sure that we are making sure that people are clicking subscribe, rate, review, and Angel, what else?
Share,
right.
Subscribe, call your buddy, and especially if you have someone that they feeling alone, or they feel like someone doesn't understand them, or the transition is too hard, we're just a click and a share away from changing someone's life and having an impact, or saying the right thing at the right time and making a difference. So that's why we do this.
Amen. Absolutely. And next week we've got Court Harris. You want to talk about Court?
Yeah, Court is a West Point guy. I won't hold that against him. He is an amazing professional. He's done so many things to help my business. He's the chairman of the board for the Chicago Executive Airport. He runs veteran hiring and veteran programs for Chamberlain Advisors, which their chairman is another West Point guy. I was named Matt Shockman. And the things that they do at Chamberlain to mitigate the transition and help veterans find positions in the financial sector is really, really groundbreaking stuff. So I'm super excited about what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that conversation. That's Tuesday next week, same time, same place. And as a friend of mine used to say, same socks. But I don't want that might get you in trouble. So that might already be one against.
Shalom said it. I didn't say it. But speaking of someone that pays it forward and does a lot to help veterans, our guest today, Saul Newton, is the executive director for Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. And rather than sit here and read his bio, I'm going to tell you what Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce means to Veteran Chamber of Commerce means to me. And Saul, you jump in and correct me if you can virtually slap me in the head for getting it wrong. That's okay too. But what they do is every city or state has a chamber of commerce, and it's where all the businesses come together and they create these environments where they can work together and collaborate and help each other's businesses grow. Lessons learned, knowledge share, and partnership driven kind of stuff. Well, what Saul's organization does is it is that, and you add in the relationship of people that are either veterans themselves, veteran business owners, or they're veteran supporters, and they want to be involved in veteran-owned businesses, hiring veterans, or veteran initiatives, whether it be not-for-profit or for-profit businesses. So what Saul does is Saul herds the cattle, if you will, and brings everyone together, kind of guides the strategy and the vision of what's going to happen with Wisconsin Veteran Chamber of Commerce. Did I get it right?
Yeah. I think that's a really good description of what we do. I like to say that anytime business issues and veterans issues overlap, any issues within that Venn diagram, that's what we focus on. Our vision is to make Wisconsin the most veteran-friendly state in the country. And the way that we do that is by working to expand economic opportunity for veteran service members and their families by engaging directly with veteran-owned and veteran-friendly businesses.
I noticed one piece that Angel probably intentionally left out of your bio.
I did.
Is that you served in the Army, in the infantry from 2009 through 2012. And I know you deployed to Afghanistan. And that is obviously makes you credible and makes you I know you are so passionate about the advocacy that you're doing, the membership opportunities. And we'll dive into a number of those different areas, but let's start there. I always go in this direction with those that have put on the uniform, all kidding aside, any uniform, and talk about what brought you into the military, what caused you to enlist, and tell us a little bit about your family background that led to that decision.
Sure.
And was the Navy recruiter closed that day? Just trying to make sure.
The Navy recruiter was out to lunch. Was out to lunch when I went to the recruiting station. No, I grew up in the Milwaukee area. I'm the only one in my family to have served. I didn't have any parents or grandparents that served. Really, the way I wound up in the military was after I graduated from high school, I went to college for a few years and realized that it just wasn't where I wanted to be. College wasn't right for me at that point. But I was fortunate to have some really good friends who had a military background. And so I talked to them a little bit and wound up enlisting in 2009. And I can't really explain why I chose infantry as an MOS, but I'm glad that I did. I made some really great friendships. I learned a lot, had some really great experiences. So I joined. I enlisted right at the height of the surge in Afghanistan. So after I got out of basic training, which is for infantry in the Army, it's a combined basic training and AIT. I was deployed within a couple of months. Advanced individual training.
Thank you.
I think that's what the acronym stands for.
We'll go with that. I'm not going to
argue. I've lost a lot of the knowledge of the acronyms over the last few years.
Just because it's gone, I wouldn't say you lost it.
Hey, my wife is in the room and she's learning those acronyms. So
maybe I just repressed it. I don't know. But yeah, I was deployed just a couple of months after I got out of basic. I was in the Kandahar. I was in the Kandahar province of Afghanistan in a region called the Arghandab River Valley. So that was where we focused, and I was there for about 13 months.
Wow. I mean, usually, by the way, it is the folks that don't know why they joined the infantry. That's they probably were drinking something before they went into the recruiter's office, and then they ended up infantry, and there you go. So actually, now I want to switch gears to the tail end of your time in service. You served only for a couple of years. Tell us what made you decide to get out. And I know the reason I'm asking this question is because you are involved with veterans that are entering business and veterans that are in business. So what was that experience like? What caused you to get out, and how was your transition? The reason that my length of service was so short was partially accidental and partially just kind of the way things worked out. When I got back from Afghanistan, I was really motivated and kind of fired up. I was starting to progress. I became a team leader and all of the things that you do as a Joe when you start to get a little bit of experience under your belt. And then, so I was stationed in Colorado, and at Fort Carson, and Colorado has some crazy weather. And, so one morning, during PT, I just happened to slip and fall and blew out my knee. And that was the end of my military career. It was just a couple of months, until I was up for reenlistment. So I wasn't med boarded or anything like that. But it just happened to work out that I got injured right as I was coming up for enlistment. I had actually been working to see what other options I might have.
You had a jacked up knee and they still let you get out?
Turns out that a team leader with a jacked up knee who can't really train or do PT isn't much use in an infantry unit. So
that's weird. I asked because a lot of times when you're doing your separation physical, they'll screen things like that, or they're supposed to screen things like that. And we talk about systemic challenges at the military, and they're supposed to screen you and say, "Hey, this guy isn't as good as when we got him. So one or two things going to happen: we're going to med board him and give him a rating, or we're going to fix him and then send him on his way." It sounds like none of that happened.
No, not that. Not that I experienced. I don't know if they. If I just missed a step in the process, it was a fairly accelerated process, just because I was so close from ETSing. So I had actually been looking at possibly dropping a packet to try to go to selection or doing some other training if I stayed in, but just wasn't in the cards.
So your transition out of the military, to Shalom's point, your transition. So, and this kind of has me curious. I'm curious how you went from Army soldier to I'm the executive director of this really freaking big business, because there's other places like Chicago. I've talked to you at length about building one here in Chicago, and the lessons learned, the things you guys have done are really groundbreaking. You have massive legislative support. How did that transition happen? Did you fall into it? Were you just in the right place at the right time?
I think that's what it really boils down to. The short story is that after I got out of the military, I went back to school, and when I was finishing up with school, I was doing the things that you do when you're looking for a job. And that's basically having coffee with anybody that will give you 15 or 20 minutes. And so one of the people that I had known from prior to enlisting was a guy who founded the Wisconsin LGBT Chamber of Commerce. And in that organization,
did not know they had one.
Yeah, it's massive. It's they've gotten national awards. It's a really great organization. And so we were having coffee, and I just happened to ask him, is there a similar type of organization out there for military veterans? I certainly, his organization was very built out, but I was like, I certainly try to be an ally, but I don't personally identify as LGBT. So I don't know if I would be that would be the right place for me. But an organization like that for veterans, that's something I'd really like to get involved in. And he said, he told me that there wasn't. And not only wasn't there anything like that in the state of Wisconsin, there really wasn't much of anything like that nationwide. There were a couple of states at that point that had a veteran chamber of commerce or business association or something along those lines. But I was really surprised. And I was more surprised when I started looking into and doing some research and finding out that veterans are about 50% more likely to be self-employed and to start businesses. 1 in 4 military veterans say that they either want to or they have started a business. Wisconsin is home to about 55,000 veteran-owned businesses across the state. And the more I started looking into it, the more there seemed to be these points of connection between economic issues and veterans issues. And so I like to joke that being the enterprising young E4 I was, I just decided to start one. And so I figured out how to form a nonprofit organization. I found 3 people who were willing to be on our initial board of directors. And I wrote a press release saying that we're going to have a happy hour in Milwaukee. And I went to Costco and got some pretzels, and that was our first event.
Did you mirror the LGBT model, like the build out of their model?
So there definitely have been some valuable guidance coming from them, and looking at different types of events that they offer and different programs. We have modeled some. There are others where just the needs of veteran and military affiliated populations are different from the needs of the LGBT population.
Yeah, but
so there's a little
touch
bit
point structures. There's still touch point structures. There are people. The roadmap is similar, even though they might be a different street. It just the way you go down on your journey is still the same.
And that was really, looking at other chambers of commerce, looking at economic development organizations, seeing how the principles of economic development could really be applied to veteran and military populations, and making sure that everything that I like to say that the private sector is just as committed as the public sector is to supporting and serving veterans.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Shalom.
Okay. So, on your website, just picking up on that point, on your website, you talk about we are the Veterans Chamber, the voice of Wisconsin veteran business community dedicated to improving the business climate for military veterans and their allies. And it's really, to think about where you came from and what you're doing, the impact you're having is truly inspirational. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what the chamber looks like today and the profiles of some of the people that are participating. So some of the events I know on your website right now, you have morning formation, taking stress out of goals. Morning formation is probably something that when people are in uniform, maybe they don't look forward to so much, but I know your members are. So what are some of those events? Who are the members? Tell us some of the statistics and data, and most importantly, the impact that you are having.
Sure. So we have 26 different programs as an organization that we offer to our members. Many of those are event-based programs that we hold throughout the state, giving our audience an opportunity to not only learn educational information on how they can operate their business or how they can improve their workforce, but also opportunities to network. And we've obviously had to make some adjustments in the past year. But networking is a big part of what we do. We also have marketing programs. We have direct assistance programs, including a business accelerator, as well as as well as workforce support for employers who are looking to recruit and retain veteran and military affiliated employees. We have discounts and cost savings. There's a lot of forms that those programs take. They all generally fall into one of three categories, what we call our pillars. So our first pillar is business development, working with veteran business owners, veteran entrepreneurs, helping them start and grow their businesses. All of our programming within this pillar has one of two goals, either increasing their revenue or helping them operate their business more efficiently by saving time and money. We also work with businesses that aren't necessarily owned by veterans, but are looking to market their products and services to veteran and military customers. So, that could be a coffee shop that might offer a discount on a cup of coffee. That could be a business service provider that's looking to engage veteran-owned businesses, or it could be a company in modeled after USAA, where their entire business model and their entire customer demographic is veteran and military affiliated individuals. So everything that we do around that is helping businesses grow their business by engaging with veteran and military populations. Our second pillar is workforce development. I think we take a pretty unique approach to workforce development in that we deliberately don't engage or don't offer programs to support individual job seekers. We don't have a jobs board on our website. We don't have a resume review program or job search assistance or job training. There are a lot of organizations and resources that provide that, and we would rather support those organizations that are providing them rather than duplicate what's already in the ecosystem. But our focus is actually engaging directly with employers to not only inform them about why it's in their best interest to recruit and retain veteran and military affiliated talent, but how they can go about doing that, how they can source talent, how they can translate the skills and the experience and the competencies that an individual might gain through their military experience and apply it to their workforce. How they can engage, their in larger organizations, how they can engage and support the existing military affiliated employees that they have. So that's really our engagement. Our focus with workforce development is making sure that once a candidate is able to kind of connect with a company, that company is in the best position to be able to assess them accurately and fit them in within their larger organization.
And that's when you bring people like me in to come and educate the HR and the talent teams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We do a lot of work around employee resource groups for organizations that are large enough to have those. But yeah, it's really about educating the folks that are making the hiring decisions, the HR professionals, the hiring managers, teaching them not only the value that veterans bring, but then how they, what does it mean to be an E4? What does it mean to be an 03? What does it mean to be an 06? What's the different kind of technical training that might come along with military training? What are all the soft skills? All the things that we know make military candidates, veteran candidates successful. The drive, the perseverance, the leadership skills, the responsibility and discipline, and all of those kinds of things that employers are looking for. They just might not be able to translate it and understand how it applies to their organization. And so finally, our last pillar is community development. And really what that means for us is serving as a connection point and a facilitator for the business community to engage with the veteran and military community as a whole. Wisconsin is home to more than 1,700 nonprofit organizations that are dedicated to providing service to veterans and military populations. And we want to encourage more collaboration between the business community and the veterans community. We want to see businesses supporting organizations through community service projects and being involved with donating supplies or even making monetary contributions. But it can be really for someone who's not intimately familiar with this community, it can be very difficult to navigate. And so we essentially act as a matchmaker to say, here's a business that might want to do some kind of veteran or military engagement. here are some organizations that they can work with to meet their strategic goals. So that's why I say we're more aligned with an economic development organization, because when you look at how local economic development is really comprehensive, because you can't have a healthy business community without a healthy workforce. You can't have a healthy workforce without a high quality of life. And all of these things are interdependent upon each other. So, our approach is, rather than applying that to a specific community or a specific region, we apply that to a segment of the population.
I just have one last question. Well, how many members are there in right now with the Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce? That wasn't a question, but I do want to know that too.
Oh, sure. We do have about 300 members, just under 300 members.
That's the individual business?
Correct. Individual businesses and organizations.
Wow. And the time you've done this, because you built 300 businesses is pretty substantial. It's very substantial. And can you think of a time that you kind of look back at what you and your team have built, and kind of look back and going, wow, we're moving the needle here, and just one significant event that you want to share?
I think there have been a lot. We've been able to have a pretty significant impact, I think. Serving individual businesses, individual entrepreneurs, helping folks start and grow their businesses and seeing them be successful. But in terms of being the advocacy voice, I would say that it was there was a bill that was passed in the Wisconsin legislature a couple of years ago that dramatically increased eligibility of veterans to participate in the state supplier diversity program. Previously, there had been a disability requirement that of a certain level in order to participate in, and we got that streamlined with the federal VA, so that if you were eligible to participate in the federal VA program, you were eligible to participate in the state, and that was something that I'm still very proud that we were able to work bipartisan bill.
Wow.
To expand opportunities for veterans to grow their business.
Awesome.
That's huge.
That's
that's something I would hang my hat on and go home and go back to Cabo or something. That's great.
No, and Angel, you touched on the advocacy piece, which I was about to go into, and I just wanted to my final comment over here is I just want to say that I think I really I've just been reflecting over the past half hour or so in what you said in learning from the LGBTQ chamber. I think it's fantastic, because a lot of people don't think of veterans as an area of, call it, inclusion in the traditional sense, but really it is all about, for most people, for most employers, for most companies that are out there, for most individuals that are out there, they see differences. They see whether it's sexual orientation, whether it's gender, but also military service. And what you are doing is you are changing the paradigm. You are changing the paradigm, and you're creating an internal community, which is huge for camaraderie, for relationship building. But then you're out there advocating, which is huge. And frankly, you're out there, and I see through your website, doing a lot of marketing and advertising, and frankly, creating a platform for folks to do business with the veterans community and for the veteran community to grow their market share. And for that, obviously, we say thank you. And that's really what this pod is all about. We all serve. You certainly have put on the uniform. You certainly have served, and ended probably not the way you imagined. You were all hua and ready to go, and then your little injury. And Angel,
you know what though? Let me tell you about Saul though. You'll never hear him complain or whine about his injury or anything. And he's just such a positive guy. He's just so, let's see what we can do. Let's try and make something. Let's just go forward. It's not the sourness about him. It's just a good energy, just a good dude.
I appreciate that, Angel.
And what I'm going to do over here is put up the website. And Saul, I want to give you the opportunity, if you want to share, how people can be involved, whether it's a veteran or whether it's just somebody out and about in the community. Maybe we have people, Angel knows this, we have people that tune in from like Algeria or I don't know where. How can they get involved? How can they be a part of the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce?
Well, first we have members from all over the country, and so if anybody is interested, I don't believe we have any members in Algeria. Although we would absolutely love to have some if there's a way that we could be of value to them. I would say. In terms of how to get involved with our organization, becoming a member, if there's value that we can provide to you, we certainly would love to have you as a member. But look at even starting a chamber of commerce in your own community or in your own state. Or if there's one in existence, getting involved with them. This concept of chambers of commerce for veterans is spreading is spreading pretty quickly. So there may be one in your community that you're not aware of. But lastly, I'll say my motivation in starting this organization was to really change the perception of veterans that I was seeing among business leaders in Wisconsin, and really making sure that folks know that veterans are assets, that the experience that is gained through military service, whether it was 3 years like me or 30 years, that's a value, and that's an asset, and that's an improvement to whether it's your business or your business community, your workforce, your community as a whole. When we have more veterans who are doing well, everybody rises. And so if you're not in Wisconsin, think about ways that you can kind of push that narrative and really leverage veterans for all the value that they bring.
Well, thank you, Saul. I appreciate you coming on the cast and sharing your personal story. I appreciate all the years that you put up on my stuff. That's kind of a sacrifice. We're nominating you for sainthood pretty soon after that. But mostly the impact long term that you have, and just sticking with it and sticking to it, and being such a beacon for so many of us.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me on and the opportunity to share my story, and look forward to continuing to work together.
Oh yeah, no, truly, congratulations on all of your success, and thank you for all that you're doing, continuing to serve. So lastly, before we wrap over here, so Angel, one more time, people getting, subscribing, and Court Harris, can you just give a plug?
Share and come on and join us next week when we have Court Harris, the chairman of the Chicago Executive Airport and veteran advocate. He's a West Point grad. Right now, I think he's in Northwestern doing his master's at Medill, I think. And so he's a student. He's a working man. He's just a good guy.
Yeah, well, good. Looking forward to the conversation. Thank you, gentlemen, and looking forward to episode 44. We all serve. Again, make sure you're clicking that subscribe button. Till then, see you soon.